The first thing you should know is that I never hated him. I wanted to. God, I tried. But the truth is, you don't spend months locked in this unspoken war with someone stealing glances, trading smirks, knocking shoulders during games, without wondering what it would feel like to let the tension break in ways that aren't meant for the court. And yet, when Marcus Hayes, my arrogant, cocky, 6'3" rival, smirked at me after our college basketball championship, I swore that was the end of it. He won. I lost. He should have just left me in the wreckage of my own pride. But then he started texting me. Every single day. I still remember the sound of my phone buzzing the night after the game. My body was sore, my ego bruised, my head full of replays of missed shots. And then his name lit up my screen. Marcus. The message read, "You played good today." Almost made me sweat. Almost. I wanted to throw my phone across the room. Instead, I typed back, "Don't flatter yourself. I'll get you next season." I didn't expect him to reply, but he did. Within seconds. "Looking forward to it, champ." That was the beginning. Marcus Hayes wasn't the kind of guy who texted for fun. He had the attention span of a dog chasing a basketball, always moving, always restless. Yet somehow he found reasons to message me every night. First it was trash talk. Then it turned into late-night jokes. Then it turned into questions I didn't expect from him. Do you ever regret choosing this school? Do you ever feel like the court is the only place that makes sense? Do you ever get lonely? The questions hit harder than his elbows in the paint. And for reasons I couldn't explain, I answered. It wasn't supposed to mean anything. He was Marcus, the guy everyone admired and hated in equal measure. Arrogant, charismatic, impossible. The kind of person who walked into a room and swallowed all the air. But through the glowing screen of my phone at 2 a.m., Marcus wasn't that guy. He was just a voice in the dark, stripped of swagger, searching for something he couldn't find in his victories. And I hated myself for wanting to be the one to give it to him. The first time we saw each other again after the game was in the campus gym. I had been shooting hoops alone, headphones in, trying to drown out his voice that had been looping in my head for days. Then he walked in. His hair was still damp from practice, his shirt clung to his chest, and he had that smirk, the one that made half the girls on campus swoon and the other half want to strangle him. "Thought I'd find you here," he said, tossing his bag to the bleachers. I rolled my eyes. "Stalker much?" He grinned. "Don't flatter yourself." And just like that, the words I had used to defend myself now came back to mock me. We played. One-on-one. No scoreboard, no crowd, no pressure. Just us and the sound of sneakers squeaking against the hardwood. Every time his shoulder brushed mine, my body betrayed me. My breath caught. My chest tightened. My hands itched to linger longer than the game allowed. I lost track of points. I lost track of time. I only knew the way his eyes softened when he laughed, the way his smirk faltered when he caught me staring too long, the way something unspoken buzzed between us like static before a storm. At one point, he stole the ball from me, darted past, and dunked with ease. Hanging off the rim, he looked at me upside down and said, "Still not fast enough." I threw the ball at him. He caught it, laughing. And in that laugh, I heard something dangerous, something tender. The texts grew bolder after that. "You looked good today. Not at basketball. Just you. Don't freak out. I mean it." I wanted to ignore it. I wanted to call him out. But instead, I typed back before I could stop myself. "You looked good too." He replied with a winking emoji. And somehow that little icon felt like a match dropped into gasoline. The hardest part wasn't admitting I wanted him. The hardest part was knowing I shouldn't. Because Marcus wasn't someone you trusted with your heart. He was reckless. He burned too bright. He left ashes. And yet, the more I pulled away, the more he closed in. One night, he asked me to meet him at the old bleachers by the river. I almost said no. I almost deleted the message. But something in me, pride, maybe longing, dragged me there anyway. He was waiting, hoodie pulled over his head, sneakers tapping nervously against the wooden steps. When he saw me, he smiled, but it wasn't the smirk I knew. It was small, shy almost. "You came," he said. "Don't make it sound like a date." I shot back, though my chest tightened at the word. He shrugged. Maybe it is. The silence that followed wasn't awkward. It was heavy, like both of us were standing on the edge of a cliff, too scared to jump but too drawn to step back. Finally, he said, "You drive me crazy, you know that? On the court, off the court. I can't stop thinking about you." I laughed, sharp and bitter because it was easier than believing him. "You're insane." "Maybe, but I'm not lying." His voice cracked in a way I'd never heard before. Vulnerable. Raw. "Tell me you don't feel it too, and I'll back off." I opened my mouth. I should have ended it. Should have told him no. But instead, I whispered, "I do." And that was the night everything changed. Not because we kissed. We didn't. Not yet. But because we admitted the truth. That the fire between us wasn't just rivalry. It was something deeper, something terrifying, something real. And from that moment, there was no going back. Marcus and I didn't kiss that night by the river. We sat there in silence, two stubborn idiots pretending we weren't falling apart inside. I thought that would be the hardest part, admitting what we felt. But I was wrong. The hardest part came after. Because loving Marcus Hayes meant choosing to stand in the middle of a storm, never knowing if he'd burn me alive or light up the world around me. The weeks that followed were chaos. On the court, we played like nothing had changed, like we were still just rivals. Off the court, our phones buzzed nonstop with messages we'd never dare say out loud in public. Little things at first. Jokes, compliments, confessions that slipped in between the lines. But you can't live in the in-between forever. The pressure broke during a game against another school. I had been off my rhythm, missing shots I should have nailed, my frustration boiling. Then, in the middle of the second half, Marcus slammed into me harder than necessary, knocking me to the ground. The whistle blew. I shoved him back. "What the hell is your problem?" He snapped. "Maybe if you'd focus instead of daydreaming. You don't get to talk to me like that." I cut in, my voice breaking, because what I wanted to say was, "Not after what we shared. Not after you made me believe you cared." The ref pulled us apart, but the damage was done. We didn't speak again that night. Not in the locker room, not after the bus ride back. For the first time in weeks, my phone stayed silent. It hurt more than losing the game. The silence stretched on for days. Every time I saw his name in my contacts, my chest tightened. I told myself I didn't care, that this was what I wanted, freedom from the confusion, the push and pull. But then, late one night, my phone lit up. "I'm sorry." 2 words. Simple. Raw. Enough to crack me open again. I didn't answer right away. I let him sweat for hours, maybe days. But eventually I gave in. "Why did you push me like that?" He replied instantly. "Because I'm scared. Because I don't know how to want you without destroying everything." And there it was, the truth I had been too afraid to name. We met again in the gym after midnight. The place was empty, the air heavy with the faint smell of sweat and old wood. Marcus was already there, pacing the court like a caged animal. When he saw me, he froze. His eyes softened, the walls crumbling. "I don't know how to do this," he admitted, voice hoarse. "I've spent my whole life being the guy who wins, who controls everything. But with you, I lose. Every time. And it terrifies me." I stepped closer, my heartbeat loud in my ears. "Maybe it doesn't have to be about winning or losing." He swallowed hard. "Then what is it about?" And for once, I didn't hesitate. I placed a hand on his chest, feeling the frantic beat beneath. "It's about us. About not pretending anymore." The first kiss wasn't fireworks. It wasn't perfect. His lips were trembling, mine unsteady. But it was real, desperate. Like 2 people finally letting themselves breathe after holding it in for too long. And in that messy, imperfect kiss, I knew. Marcus Hayes wasn't my rival anymore. He was something more. Something terrifying. Something worth it. But love stories aren't simple. Especially when the world doesn't make space for them. Rumors started. Teammates noticed the way we looked at each other, the way our tension had shifted from hostility to something else entirely. Whispers followed us down hallways. Questions lingered in the locker room. I felt the weight of every stare, every judgment. One night after practice, Marcus pulled me aside. His face was pale, his hands shaking. "Maybe we should cool it," he said. The words felt like a knife. "Cool it? You mean end it?" His silence was answer enough. I walked away from him that night. For days, I ignored his texts, his calls, his desperate attempts to explain. My chest felt hollow, my anger a shield against the ache underneath. But no matter how far I tried to run, I couldn't outrun the truth. I loved him, and maybe love wasn't supposed to be easy. Maybe it was supposed to hurt, to test you, to make you fight for it. The breaking point came during our final game of the season. The score was tied, the crowd roaring, the ball in my hands. And in the corner of my vision, I saw him, Marcus, waiting, open, trusting me to pass. In that split second, I had a choice. Keep the spotlight for myself or give him the chance. I passed. He scored. We won. The crowd exploded. But the only thing I saw was him, grinning at me through the chaos, eyes shining with something that wasn't just victory. That night, he found me outside the gym, away from the celebration. He didn't smirk. He didn't joke. He just stood there, breathless, and whispered, "I can't lose you. Not to pride, not to fear. Not again." My throat tightened. "Then don't." And when he kissed me again, this time under the blinding glow of the gym lights, it wasn't shaky or hesitant. It was certain, fierce. We're not perfect. We still fight. We still get under each other's skin. But now, when Marcus texts me every night, it isn't to taunt or to distract. It's to remind me he's there, that he's choosing us. And maybe that's the real victory. Not the trophies, not the scoreboard, but finding love in the one place you least expected it, your rival's arms. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.